Okay.
On your
Wait, you have started it, right?
yeah, I accidentally pressed start streaming, so I'm going
Oh,
to
okay,
stop
okay,
it.
okay.
Do you want me to stop it?
Okay. The title is not yet true, but anyway, yeah, it has started.
Yeah. Do you want me to
Well,
stop
anyway,
it?
let's just start it anyway. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we already in. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we
Go
are
on.
already on air, I guess.
Okay, good people. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.
Welcome back to our Recurring Sunday podcast. Now we have a title called "This Ritual Will Save Your Marriage." Okay. Well, I think it's gonna be a useful formula for a new bride.
Mhm. New bride,
Yeah. Hello, Adil. Are you connected?
new groove.
I'm sorry, my parents was calling me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let you do it first.
All right, she has done. Okay, please
Oh,
continue.
okay. All right. So yeah, I think this ritual will be useful for new bride. Okay. Yeah, we
Newlywed,
have.
newlywed.
Man, yeah, not only newlywed, but I think for every uh, married people.
Yeah, yeah. I think for uh new married people, yeah, for new married people, this kind of formula, okay, to make it more useful and gonna be gonna make two lovers to be more united, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
yeah, first of all, I wanna greet one of you, uh, Chuck. How you
Yes,
doing, man?
yes, Octavian, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, all right, that's it. Adil, how are you doing right now?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Thank you for asking. How about you, Andra?
Yeah, I'm in good shape too. Yeah, I hope that we all are always in a good shape of
I mean,
the condition. Yeah,
I mean,
since right now we face a harsh environment called extreme temperature. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I encourage you all to drink more, okay, if you experience this circumstance. Right, maybe Adil, because it's your turn. Yeah, let you do your round perform.
all right. Thank you, Andra, for your Okay, first of all, this is a very invalid podcast because none of us has married yet, definitely. And this is just me, searching through the internet about how to do, saving marriage and stuff. So I might be wrong, but I think this ritual has research that backs it up. Maybe it will work. Just let's try it today, okay? How will be this ritual looks like.
Okay.
So I'm gonna share my screen right now. First screen. I think this one is enough. All right. Can you see it? Oh, not yet, not yet.
Not yet. Just,
All right.
just.
Now you
Okay.
should be able to see it.
All right. Already.
So yeah. So the title of this ritual is Dreams Within Conflict. It is created by the Gottman Institute.
Okay.
So Gottman Institute is basically, you know, an institute where they do research for couples, so they will have less divorce
Hmm?
likelihood. Yeah.
Sorry, so does this institute research for love?
No, yeah, for couples relationship.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, how to make it long lasting and so on.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So they have this ritual called Dreams Within Conflict, and it is used to understand the partner's underlying dreams, history, beliefs, or values. And yeah, let's try it in you know,
Yeah, interesting
in
topic.
real life. And there are some rules in this ritual, okay? There will be the speaker and there will be the listener. So for the speaker, you should tell everything in your mind and you have to be clear and honest, definitely.
So
And
there's no hidden things.
yeah, there is no hidden things. And you are here to try to tell all your feeling and don't try to kind of manipulate your partner or to persuade them to think in your point of view. Just, you know, explain it, like telling and be honest, be vulnerable about how you have for this specific topic. Yeah, just tell all your partners thought, feelings about your position in this on this issue. And as for the listeners, all we have to do is to make our partners feel safe, okay? Feel safe. Don't try to, make a grown, um, what is it? Like
But
grown place, grown, like uh common ground. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
mm,
Like don't make a common ground statement like, oh yeah, I know your feeling, blah 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 blah. Just listen to their issue, listen to
So I
their
think
value,
we
and
need to get rid our own judgmental for a while.
yeah, make sure we all, for the listener, we have to, shut up. We have to be silent as long as possible. Maybe we have to wait until 5 seconds or whatsoever until the speaker has finished what he is trying to say. And yeah, or after the speakers, ask our opinion about it. Yeah, just make sure. No, 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 no. In fact, the speaker just don't ask their feeling about it. Just make a statement. Don't try to, make a conversation. Just talk everything about their feeling, their belief whatsoever. And the listener's job will be, only to ask a question to the, you all still remember, right?
mm,
My negotiation stuff, like creating, labeling, like it seems like you have this value and so on. It sounds like you have this blah 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 blah. Or maybe we can do mirroring, like yeah, mirroring. You still remember mirroring, right? Right? Yeah, I hope so. And yeah, don't make any don't judge the people, don't try to solve the problem, just listen and listen, okay? Try to understand the underlying feeling, the underlying meaning behind the speaker's statement. Just do not argue for your point of view. Just listen and ask question for the listener. All right, who wants to try first to be the speaker? All
Randy,
right, yeah.
be a
All
mm.
speaker.
right, all right.
Um,
Let's.
okay. What's the issue here? What seems to be
All
the
right.
issue,
Let's.
sir?
All right. All right. Let's start with the first one, a sense of freedom. So let me open it. Okay, Andrea. So Randia,
Mhm.
what do you believe about a sense of freedom?
Huh. A sense of freedom, like uh oh, okay. Freedom. I think for me, what I believe in is what you're able to do, right? I mean, there are no restriction for it, like anything like that, to do what you want and something like that. However, in my opinion, freedom uh, doesn't equal to happiness or anything resemble good things. Sometimes freedom could be a bad thing too. For example, to be free, which means to be not having any restriction, and also could cause bad thing. For example, freedom of speech, for example, sometimes have this kind of hate speech included in there, which cause trouble. Some people say that hate speech is also part of freedom of speech, but I myself think that freedom of speech itself is not necessarily good for society. I think freedom with consequence is more appropriate for our society. That's I think that's what I call so in summary, freedom for me is something that has no restriction, something that people have it but should be toppled by consequence. Does it answer like does it is this answer like close like what you meant in this podcast, or is it something
Yeah, I mean, let me summarize what you have said.
else?
Yeah,
So
dili gina
you,
listener.
so you mean like freedom means you can do anything, and it doesn't really equal to happiness. And when you have this freedom, maybe there are some fun stuff you can do, but you have to be aware of the consequence of that freedom. I mean, at least like don't make sure that it doesn't harm others when you have your freedom, right? For
Mm,
example, what you have said is that hate speech, like,
mm,
there is this notion about freedom of speech, but sometimes because we in that, notion we can do, freedom because it is free to say anything. We can do something like hate speech,
mm,
which might result in a war between two groups or whatsoever.
mm. Yeah, I think that's the gist of it. Freedom. I mean, to be fair, like they are freedom, they are consequence. If you only use freedom, then it could end up bad things, although it doesn't necessarily have. But you need to couple it by the sense of uh, consequence. I think the sense of things that has consequence. That's my take on it.
What do you think about the idea that school is scam? Saying school
Sorry,
is scam.
saying what? Sorry.
What do you think about, some people say, because it is freedom of speech, right?
Hmm?
Mm.
And some people say that school is a scam.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it is I think for me is too is it is kind of ill pose, I think, to say that, because it's too I think that take is a bit too simplistic, because there are nuances to stuff like that. Yes, some education structure and system, there are flaws in there, but it doesn't mean that we should uh flip it
Things
around
schools.
and not going to school or anything. In fact, what we should do is try to improve our education structure. But coming back to the freedom of speech, people people are entitled to say things like that, to say what opinion is, but it's actually, to be fair, it's actually the listener job to decide whether it's a good opinion or bad opinion. Although the consequence for the speaker itself is they may be some people who uh,
Bullies.
yeah, maybe bullies.
wait,
Bullies is strong word, but it's more like uh hujat. What is hujat in Indonesia? uh
cancel.
it get canceled. I mean, some people will criticize the speaker for saying that opinion, and that's also fair, since they have freedom of speech. Mm.
And you just need to answer this kind of question by saying, imagine if doctor candidates learning medical school through YouTube.
Oh yeah, that's
What the
the.
society will become?
I mean, yeah, sure, yeah. I mean, that's a good analogy. That's a
Okay,
greatest
okay, okay,
counterpoint.
okay, okay, okay. Let's not make this a discussion, okay?
Okay.
But let's make this, like so. Then, yeah, do you have some kind of like experience or a story about this topic, freedom, sense of freedom? Do you have, a story about this topic?
Sorry, huh? I don't have much, I think. Um, However, like one thing that this is about freedom of speech, right? Or should
No, no,
be
no.
anything?
A sense of freedom, not only, but it can be freedom of speech, but it is general, like sense of freedom.
Mm. Well, it's different than freedom of speech, but I don't know. I don't have really. I mean, I should be have, but I don't know if it's a good example or not. You know, I was talking about responsibility, right? I mean, you see, I thought like every time like if I graduated like from high school I will be free. If I graduated from university I will be free. And now since I have work, if I like uh, having a lot of money and then retired I will be free. And also that thought couples with the thinking that my life start now after I already got free. It's kind of like boggles me down like uh maybe it's not a good take, I think. I constantly think that, but I know it's not a good take for our life, in our life, I think. One small story is like when I graduated in high school, like I was fine, but I think that my university will be enjoyable and stuff like that. I would be free from the problem that high school have, like having many trouble, like having many homework and maybe having a fixed schedule and stuff like that. I can go anywhere. But in reality, things are not so beautiful. Yeah, I mean there are things to do, things to work on, things to responsibility basically. So freedom, it's not something about. It's not really fun, you know. To be fair, freedom is just, I mean, sorry, in life, I think what we call freedom, it's an idealistic sense of freedom. I think that there are still responsibility to do even after life and life. So it may disappoint you that after a certain event or big part of your life, there's still thing to do. So what I mean, like there are no now. I think like uh, there are no happy ending, to be fair. Like I mean we could be happy right now, but there are no happily ever after. It's just a normal life basically. Like you have things to do, either you are at the peak of your life or down in your life. It's just a normal life, and goes and so on. That's basically my story. I don't know if it's a good story though. Or a jumbled word, I think.
All right, I guess let's move to Andra this time,
Yeah.
okay?
Perfect. Okay, okay.
Andra, Andra, okay, what do you think about
So wait.
this?
So is it my turn to become a speaker?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Like, how do you define, what do you think about this, sense of freedom? How do you define it, and what do you think about it?
Yeah, it's not far away from
Pradas.
Randy's statement, sorry. It's not far away from Randy's statement. I think that what we call as freedom is a free to express whatever what we think it's right to express from our deepest heart. Okay. And then it should be stuck in consequences thereafter we express something. And I think that what Randy said is that the freedom itself is not gonna be forever freedom, like what we have in reality. Cause when we just graduated from our high school, we think we are gonna be free from any uniform rules and the fixed studying hours that we had when we were in high school. Yes, maybe some of them we are already free for it from it, but of course there are more obligations, okay, that we need to take as a grown man or grown adult. So I think freedom is a kind of relative thing, okay? people will find freedom as a ability to harsh someone, okay, based on the freedom itself, but freedom can be used to free colonialism. So I think it looks like uh, two sides of you know uh, scissors. Okay, I think that's what I can give for freedom.
And yeah, do you have something to say to him?
Nah, not really. Like it's pretty much good thing.
So you mean, Andra, like freedom is, you know, you have to make sure that you don't really harm others when you are free. And
Look,
yeah, freedom is kind of, like very, very, unrealistic in our society, right? We have
yeah.
to work, do something and stuff. But Andra, kind of curious, like, do you really strive for freedom?
Sorry, can you repeat your own question, please?
Do you strive for freedom? Can you hear
Uh,
me?
Not really. I think since we live in a free world, okay, we are free to express anything in Indonesia, okay. Um, but of course, I think the the freedom itself should be restricted in some points, okay. For example, like any person that will harsh Indonesian nationalism or our heroes status, okay, they should be punished, okay, and someone that will express the feeling of uh, attracting people to be a racist, okay,
Racist.
in terms of religions or race, okay, they should be punished. So I think uh, freedom with consequences is the best formula for my own heart. And yeah, I think it's all already taken for granted. So there's no strive to make it freedom. Instead, I should make ourselves to be more disciplined, okay? Because when you call yourself is a free person, sometimes you may be more laid back, okay? Such as you will wake up late, or you will be lazy to make your room tidy, so on. So that's it from me.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see. All right, now I think it is my turn to be the speaker.
Okay,
You can.
okay. I'm going to be the one who asks, like, what do you believe in this issue, Adil?
Okay, so sense of freedom. Wait, hold up. Can you hear that ringtone voice?
Not really.
You cannot. Oh
No.
yeah.
Hmm.
So hold up. That voice is very, very
Okay, now I hear it a little bit, faintly.
okay. So sense of freedom. I mean, being free is very good. There is no restriction, there's no obligation to do something.
Right.
Of course, you are all right that we have to be mindful about what others have. I mean, like we cannot harm them, we cannot, like hurt them all. But sometimes, like okay, so for me at least, like of course I cannot say something racist, like maybe like this job is sucks or whatsoever. I cannot really say that. But freedom is can be like, financial freedom, right? And you can do anything you want after you be free from your financial burden. Maybe you can go to help other people, and yeah, you can do anything you want, and you don't really have this obligation,
Mm.
and you can just, I think there are so many people that, usually from what I saw in YouTube at least, like there are these influencers that have a lot of money, like a ton of money, right? And after they got asked, why do you still make a YouTube channel? You are already rich, right? So why? And they kind of feel like, oh, I just wanna, you know, make a great world. I just wanna make an influence. I wanna make a positive feedback to this world. And yeah, I think that's gonna be good, if we all have this kind of freedom where we can do anything we want and we can do something that we believe is right. And yeah, I think that's more fulfilling at least, rather than like working because you have to do it because you have to, like to survive. I think freedom, like those people, it's kind of feel good, kind of feel great to have this kind of freedom. But stuff like freedom of speech, I think if what you think is true, like, if what you think is true, I think that's sometimes it is okay to be hated. I think great people usually hated. Maybe like Jesus Christ or Muhammad Sallallahu. They are all hated, right? Because of freedom of speech. And they even kill it. They even want to be killed. But what their idea is, they think the idea is right. And yeah, the idea is worth it to share to. So yeah, of course, it is really hard when we say about, but I think that's fine, to be hated sometimes, but don't live because you have to follow the system. If you think that this is inefficient, this is ineffective, we can say it, like, okay, this is not right, you should change. I mean, I have this one friend, from my current university class, and you know
Mm.
um there was his school was like become kind of became military stuff, and it becomes so uncomfortable. And you know at some points the school gathered in a big hall, and that friend of mine, he literally went say to the administration that, okay, okay guys, this is stupid, and we should change. There's This is so uncomfortable. We don't like it at all, and so on. Okay, because yeah, it is very very merepotkan. What is merepotkan? Yeah,
Tedious.
yeah, tedious. That's right.
Inconvenience. Okay.
And yeah, after he said that, words, the administration changed. The people in charge got mutated somewhat. So I
Mm.
think if you think what you will have is true and so on, but this is kind for freedom of speech, okay? Yeah, you can say it, but there is also this financial freedom where you can do anything you want. And I think there are basically two things, right? That's kind of, when we talk about freedom. Is there anything besides financial freedom and freedom of speech?
Um, they are different thing, but they are this
Yeah, of
in
course.
the sense of freedom means like you're free to do anything related to that basically, right? I mean that's what you meant. If that what you meant by the definition of the same thing,
Yeah.
right? So what I mean is like if it's about financial freedom means you can do anything related to financially, like you can pay for this thing, this item, and so on. So you can buy a house, you can buy things literally like with your money basically. Financial speech meaning you can say anything. uh
Freedom of speech, yeah.
yeah, and that's just freedom of speech basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's only these two. Is there any freedom of moving
Oh,
somewhere?
well,
Freedom of living? Yeah, I
freedom
think there's
of being
four freedom, right?
happy, freedom of
Yeah, freedom to
health,
believe.
freedom to
Yeah.
believe, freedom of health, freedom to uh, freedom to I don't know, freedom to
Freedom.
promiscuity.
What? Freedom from what?
You know, I remember promiscuity, free sex, which is kind of bad. Uh, but I don't know if it's okay or not. Well, definitely not okay. It's usually in particular, especially in one particular religion. But yeah,
Yeah, but I think too much freedom is also kind of might
that,
be bad too, too much.
that's what I'm saying with you know, the consequence and thingy. But okay, do you have this? What is your story like about this? Like, do you have any story about this sense of freedom, stuff like that?
I think well, for freedom of speech, I think I'm doing it right now.
Oh shit. Okay, all right. Is it important to you about this freedom of speech thing?
Well, actually, I'm kind of, you know what I mean, like Ren, what I mean by I'm doing the freedom of speech right now. Okay, Andrea might not stop my LinkedIn, so I might tell him right now. So Andrea, so yeah, so Andrea, I have just posted two controversial statements.
Oh yeah.
The first one,
I think you already told me before.
yeah,
The meme you showed just now.
yeah, that's right. I mean, the first one is that learning directly from the expert is better than going through university. And the second statement is 90% of AI research is boring. So I post those two statements on the LinkedIn because I'm just curious because they say, in a podcast that I heard, if you want to have a lot of if you want to have a lot of engagement, you have to say something controversial but true. So I believe that it is true that learning directly from expert is more efficient way compared to going to university.
Learning from what? Sorry, for the first statement.
Running
Learning
from the expert.
directly from the expert is
Oh,
more efficient
yeah.
rather than going through university.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, instead of going to the engineering school in university, maybe you can directly go to an expert engineer in Toyota, in Tesla,
Hmm.
in yeah, go straight forward for those people instead. And you will learn a lot more, relevant information that might be really important. I think, yeah, I don't wanna say this because university is good. I don't say that university is bad. I just think that, goes to the expert himself is more efficient. And
Hmm.
yeah, I guess that's a story about freedom of speech. And as for the 90% of AI, because I have done literature research, literature review, and I saw that people just change the data sets and change the model and
Ah yeah.
no math stuff and just done something like that kind of feel like boring. And I think like they are all 90% of
Hmm.
the current literature right now.
To
I
be.
think
Hmm?
yeah.
What?
What it's clear
Oh yeah.
what Adil
Sorry.
is already
Hmm.
demonstrating a true freedom. Okay,
True freedom.
in terms of
to.
freedom of speech.
Hmm.
But of course, Adil is holding a responsible freedom of speech by having a backup for statements they said. Okay,
Yeah, that's
so it's
true.
not
I agree
it's
with
not
Andra.
it's not an scientist statement which
Mhm.
barking with intense emotionally, but it's
What?
kind of a true controversial statement. Yeah, however, it's backed up by data.
Hmm. Yeah.
Not
So
really, sorry, but
no,
just a question.
but I
Okay,
mean,
what?
but I think Andra is partly. I mean, it's mostly true. You know, like the fact that when you say a controversial statement that is true, you need to show why it's true, right? I mean, that's with
Mm.
one of the way to do it is back up with data. Of course, if it's already ubiquitous, we don't have to show it, but it needs to show evidence, at least a reasonable explanation why it's true. And also you're like, I mean, you say that this kind of stuff like 90% of AI research is boring, and what's the other one? Oh yeah, learning directly from expert is better than going through university. Some people might, I mean, it's nice to have this kind of statement, but know that the term, for example, like the 90% of AI research is boring. What do you mean by boring? What is defining by boring? I mean, you already tell us like boring means you don't. It's not a new break. I mean, it's not a big breakthrough with mathematical or new method or new discovery of technique. It's just a changing data set and stuff like that. But some people might have different opinion. Not different opinion. It's more like
And
different
exactly, that's what I'm
idea.
looking for.
Hmm.
Because it is not defined, but kind
Mhm.
of controversial. People will
Yeah.
comment in my post, right?
Right. I mean, and that's one way to get influence, I guess, because people will ask you about that. And also, learning directly from the expert is better than going through university. What do you define as better, right? There are so many metrics going on, and that's what people might want to ask because,
You will
but
get more relevant information,
yeah,
but nobody asked it yet. But
yes,
people just agree with me, right? People just
yeah, yeah,
agreed with me, you know.
NPC
People just
behavior.
agreed with me. I
But
don't really have to define it, but people just agree with me.
I mean, not really.
Okay, okay, back again,
Okay.
this is
Mm.
not a discussion podcast.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be
yeah.
a listener. All right, so
All right.
Yeah,
Randy,
this isn't yeah.
Randy, what do you believe? What do you believe about a spiritual journey?
What spiritual journey? Okay, okay, okay. Just,
Can we change the topic? Hey, actually,
oh my God.
that is one of the problems that we. What if people? What if this is back again? This is going to be a couple advice, right? Basically, a newlywed advice, right? What if the partner doesn't really want to talk about it? Like, it's going to be more harder than you. So,
Okay,
uh,
I think if our partner is reluctant to say
hmm?
about the thing, yeah, I think
We should divorce, we should
Hey,
divorce.
now, I mean, one way to do it is to tread it carefully, like
uh,
breaking the ice carefully, breaking the glass like precisely, like I don't
Breaking
know,
regrets.
yeah, like talk about it just a little bit about you see, for example, like if I would like advise with spirit if I would like shy away from spiritual journey, I think one of the ways to do it is just talk about a little bit related to spiritual journey but still related, like for example, uh what do you think about being mindfulness or something like that, maybe perhaps, but then again, that's my take on it. About spiritual journey, what do you want to ask about spiritual journey, Andra?
what is your spiritual journey in terms of when you follow God's rules, then you will be rewarded, etc.
Hmm.
Tell me about the experience about it.
I see. Okay, so you see, I have this small personal issue with
Or at
following
least
God rules.
your when you follow God rules, your heart will be 100% peaceful compared to when you are a sinful person.
Right, right. See, in my case, like, I don't mind following. I mean, it's. I mean, I'm fine with it. Like, with following God rules, like being, to me, praying and doing, what do you call ibadah? What is the English of ibadah?
Prayer,
Yeah,
Ibadah is ibadah, yes. Ibadah.
yeah, yes,
ibadah.
ibadah, right? Prayer means pray to doa, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
what
it
I mean.
should be for dua
Yeah,
specifically.
doing ibadah. I think for me it sets like it's akin to meditation. Like it's calms my heart, and it calms my heart, and being able to think clearly for me. That's one of the benefit of ibadah for me. uh, it's like making your heart feel, well, you say peaceful, right? But I think it's more like uh sense of, well, yeah, sense of peaceful, maybe, but more like free, I think. I don't know, uh something like that. However, I didn't do I my small issue with my spiritual journey is, I don't want to do ibadah just because I'm looking for, pahala or virtue points and stuff like that. I just do it because it calms my heart and appreciation to God, perhaps. But some people might disagree with me here. Some people uh, ag- agree. I mean, some people would like to think that finding out pahala is important to them. But I mean, I am open-minded. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't or should, but at least that's what I believe about my spiritual journey. So I think ibadah is one of the best way to have a great spiritual journey, especially getting closer to God itself, I think.
All right, that's a
So
really
Randia.
wait.
So it seems like, you have this experience behind, you know, being feeling peaceful and feeling, appreciation to God related to this idea of spiritual journey. So I mean, like, seems like you have this kind of experience, like a very, you know, important event where you think that uh to God you gotta be, ibadah is all about, being, bersyukur, being
Mm.
appreciate,
Gratefulness.
Mm,
yeah, and feeling peaceful, and it is for things instead of striving for, not instead of not prioritizing in pahala and stuff.
mm.
So is it?
There are one of it, which is, so let's say I have this one small story. I think, so once uh, so you see, the small story is uh pretty weird, to be fair. One time, like in front of my house, like there were a little bit of incident where a motorcycle, which the driver, which is a woman, accidentally fell down, like while driving a motorcycle in front of my neighbor. It's just I mean, he wants to help, but he kind of hesitated a little bit just because she is a woman, is not a muhrim and stuff like that. Uh, which is, to be fair, if we touch a muhrim, it's supposed to be you know dosa, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's not. So he kind of has. I mean, he end up helping him. Yes, even her. Yes, but the fact that we hesitated by because of this dosa and pahala, which actually makes me feel like we hesitated because we need to, like, count if it's pahala if we help her, but it's also dosa if we because we touch a non-muhrim. It's kind of like feels very ingenuine for me. That's why
Well,
what I think, like, what I'm now doing is doing things not because of dosa and pahala, but because I think it's the best for us, and I think it's ibadah to help people and something like that. Follow your heart. I think that's what I meant. Although your heart could be very different than mine, I guess.
yeah,
Uh,
Rendia is demonstrating when the
mm,
morality was conflicting with
mm.
the religious value,
Yeah, I mean,
and that's yeah, I think when you follow God rules, it's a really good action.
mm,
But sometimes there is a conflict, okay, by having hesitations to help non-Muslims,
mm,
because when there is an accident and but on the other hand, it's gonna be a problem too if you do not help her. So Randia thinks, yeah, just do what you think it's good without having hesitation whether it's God rules or not.
Mm.
Mhm.
Added in also to add things like another things like I feel, you see, I follow God rules because I feel it is right, not just because I follow it blindly. To be fair, like this might be other might be disagree with it, but I do follow it because I think that's right thing to do. For example, like God's rule not to kill and God's rule not to do zina. That's I think it like, you see, to me feels right means if I don't know, like uh it's not logic. Sometimes it's not logical, to be fair. It's more emotional, I think. For example, don't kill have a logical explanation, yes, uh but some other stuff that I do is far more tend to be emotional, I think, rather than logical, I suppose. But
Randia thinks that sometimes religious values will become illogical, as you know, religious means that
No,
they
man.
should
no,
be,
no,
Okay,
I mean,
okay,
no,
okay.
what, yes, but
okay,
no.
they should
Andrea,
be.
please. This he hasn't yet finished it, so
All
don't
right, all right.
Yeah,
interrupt him.
no, I mean, well, yes, I agree that sometimes religion rules doesn't has a rule that doesn't make any logical sense. But what I feel right and wrong sometimes also doesn't have to be from logical sense too, I think, uh, which is fair. So what I mean is I follow religion rule because I think it feels right for me. Not sometimes it's not even logical. It just feels right to do. That's what I mean. Like helping people is right to do. Not helping people when they are criminal is the right thing to do for me, I think. Of course it depends on nuances and stuff. What I'm saying is like what I do, what I do things because it feels right, not just because it was a religion rules. And of course, but if it's aligned, of course I will do it regardless of things, I guess. Yeah, that's it about it, Andra.
All right,
Yeah.
let me summarize it, okay, Ren. So you have this one event,
Yes.
and in that event, you kind of feel like, man, I want to help her, and
Oh,
we
if
shouldn't really consider
mm,
this idea, being so perhitungan about
yeah.
pahala and dosa, because
Mm,
helping her, is because we want to feel good. We want to feel like, you know, being a good human. And
mm,
also, because of it, you kind of feel like it shouldn't be a priority about pahala and
mm,
dosa, because, and instead, I think we should prioritize about the benefit of doing ibadah, like
mm,
peaceful, and also you kind of feel like you do this also to appreciate whatever God has given to you.
mm,
And you feel like, um, you have to think rationally, like you have to, you know, don't want to follow something blindly.
right.
You
That's right.
have to feel like, okay, this is good, especially you kind of feel like humanity, like what is feel like to be treated this way, so
Yes, yes, exactly.
better.
Mm,
Because you want to be treated like this. You have people. I wish, like, okay, this is the right thing instead. But
mm,
if somehow the religion is also allows it, like encourages it, of course I will. You will want to, really do it too with, uh, you know, with energy, with motivation, more
mm,
motivation. Yeah. So I think I understand what you have in mind, like what's your experience behind this mindset,
mm,
and what do you think is important instead. Well, I think you have told me about this one actually.
Yeah. Back
But
then,
I don't know about that one even yet.
yes,
About
yes.
that one even.
Hey Adil, I'm kind of curious. So yeah, of course, when you have dreams within conflict, right? Dreams within conflict sections, the speaker should start speaking whatever she or he thought, and then we should be a good listener, which we cannot give a judgmental conversation. But for example, like what Rendia said,
Mhm,
I think there is a misconception, Adil. Like, for
mhm,
example, Rendia said we cannot touch non-Muslim
mhm,
when we are about to help
mhm.
her or him. Okay,
Okay.
and there is a misconception, right? Actually, in 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 case of
Emergency.
emergency, yeah,
Emergency. Yes,
the
you
the
can do that.
haram action will become halal. Like
Yeah.
in jungle, when we have no food, we can hunt
It got peak.
pigs or rats, whatever that we can eat. So can we give our mother like that? I think it's not allowed, right?
Uh,
But I think what Randy has in mind is
Uh,
actually, like, don't really too much focus on the, don't be too rational to calculation about pahala and dosa, just
mm,
do it because it is a good thing to do. And yeah, and instead for ibadah, you do it not because of calculation pahala dosa, but instead you do it simply because it makes you feel good, and also it is a form of appreciation.
mm.
Is
Um,
that something that I'm left out then?
Not really. That's all that I was saying before. Also, Andra, I'm not trying to argue here,
Hmm.
uh, you see, when things, sorry, one of the things that it's not me, to be fair, like the one who, I mean, I did help her, but the one that, sorry, what I'm trying to say is, you see, when accident like that happen, emergency like that happen, the way that I see it is kind of like this. So the incident happened. I saw a woman like getting fell down to the motorcycle, high speed motor, and I tried to, when you try to help her, you kind of like, the first thing before you thinking about emergency is like, the first thing, of course, if you want to touch a woman or not, and then after that you think about, is this an emergency, yes or no? And that is by itself is kind of like hesitation. For example, if you are starving, uh, you have to consider between, is it an emergency or not before eating pigs, right? And that's it, and that's hesitation by itself. Like, you say that you don't want to eat pig because you can only eat pigs only in emergency, but to do that, you need to declare, is emergency or not. uh, and that's one of the first hesitation, even before calculating dosa or pahala, basically.
okay, so yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, what I mean,
Mm,
we cannot do such a argument, right, Adil, when
mm,
Yeah, we
we
cannot do
we, we
argument, at least
hear
in not in
the
this context. After we finish the forum, let's have
conflicting
argument.
things. Also, when we finish, we can argue.
What?
For example, Randia is my partner, for example. So when
No.
Randia
Yeah.
Randia finish their conversation, we can argue with this
No,
argument.
don't
No, right?
argue. Don't argue at all. Of
Yeah, yeah,
course.
yeah.
Yes, try
That's
to
what I mean. I
understand.
mean, we should be a good listener.
mhm,
Although what we hear sometimes is not aligned with our thoughts.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's right.
after this session, maybe weeks later, you can have that tough conversation that, hey, honey, I'm sorry. It might be a tough conversation. You might feel uncomfortable to say this, but
Mm.
hear me out. This is important for me, and I think we should align our
mm,
ideas about this.
mm,
So here is what I think is should be corrected. I think, but don't do it in this session. Do it later on, and
Yeah,
make
that's
sure the start is very, very not. Don't make a harsh start.
mm,
Start. Don't
yeah.
make a harsh.
So in other words, this session is similar as a screening session. So we should screen our partner's thoughts only.
Yes,
Uh,
but do it after you have married, okay? Don't do it. Yeah, I think you can do
I
it,
mean,
but I don't know how to. But I think this is too vulnerable. I don't know
oh,
whether it is the right thing to do.
I mean,
Anyway, this already azan,
oh yeah.
yeah.
so yeah,
Okay,
just
yeah.
Mm.
I agree. Yeah. Okay,
Mm.
because Adil has demonstrated the session of dreams within conflict. Okay, so this session requires you to screen yourself and your partner and be honest without having any judgmental conversation, even though this is not comfortable for you at first, but yeah, you may start conversation after weeks, of course, because yeah, it's the best way to do so. And
Mm.
then yeah, that's all what we have this podcast. Yeah, I hope that we can apply it when we are a married people.
Well,
I
so
mean,
in
what?
general, like we have two sessions. Like first of all, like open like talk and open your what you are honestly talk about it. Like don't judge what they say or
Yeah, that's
when they
right.
say. And after
Don't
that,
argue. That's
don't
right.
argue. Just open, just talk. Like open yourself, open what you honestly talk, and listen to your partner honestly talk. And after that, maybe after that session, you could like negotiate or talk, discuss the solution, and there
Yeah,
they
that's right.
might be argue and stuff, but it's not
Yeah,
like
that.
healthy argue. I mean, that should be a healthy argument after that.
Yeah, I will add after we do such a screening,
Yeah.
we can negotiate about the things that are in conflict.
Mm.
Oh yeah, by having healthy conversation, the problem should be at least the problem should be reduced.
Partly solved,
Okay,
I
Yeah.
guess. Mm.
yeah, partly solved. So that's it for Sunday podcast. Okay, everyone. Hope we can meet by next week, and I should finish because yeah, it's already azan.
Mm.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.